give me a quick thing. I'm gonna get one or two last things together, and we're gonna get started. And yes, my webcam is working. So, give me just another like 2-3 minutes. Grab a drink. We're getting into it. I do believe, to the best of my knowledge, oh, I'm short. That's better. Hi. Let's check this. I'm gonna check the, make sure that the, chat stuff is gonna be working up. Awesome. Okay. Whew. Highfall. Here too. I should have made my webcam look better. Anyhow, I actually wrote not a lot of notes, but I at least did something so I can like stay a bit focused. Whatever, Interax. This is, so this is interesting. This is, I went to the 4-day LARP event. I'm not calling it a 5-day LARP event, because it's not. Because you don't LARP on Sundays. On Sundays, they were like, alright, get out later. Hynafol, there were great parts. There were terrible parts. And somewhere in between that is my journey of Hynafol and what it was. So, for those of you who don't know, also, just, is the music okay? Ooh, I got all blurry for a moment. Is music alright? Let me know if I need to turn it down or not. Hynafol is a LARP, a live-action roleplay, where you actually are living as that character for multiple days. It takes place in, what's up, Magnus? It takes place in McDade, Texas, which is outside Austin, Texas. And it takes place on the grounds of Sherwood Forest Fair. So during this event, we have tents, and you actually get to stay, like, on the grounds, which is really cool. And I wish if I had more thought, I would have more, like, video playing and stuff. I did take a little bit, but we're in a medieval-style tent, and I stayed on the grounds of Sherwood Forest Fair. If you want the full inclusive package or whatever, you get a certain wristband. Your breakfast and your dinner is included. So I just want to do it like really high level so I can just dive into year 2. Again, if you're not really familiar with it, you show up, you have a tent. It's either an immersive one on the grounds or it's a modern one somewhere else, and you wake up and you're there. And you wake up and you step out of your tent and you're in a world. This world is inhabited by all of the other people in this game. And it's when you are outside of your tent, you are expected to be your character or in character, however that is. So, you know, when I step out of the tent, I'm more of like, good idea! You know, I'm all nice and do because that's where I seen the bard is more high and whatever, where I normally would probably not do anything. I kind of made myself. It is an amazing experience, and so it is, you show up Wednesday, the game, quote-unquote game, which is basically means no electronics out, everything has to be decorum. Obviously, you can't have real candles, but you have, like, the LED ones, you know, so they look like real candles. Yeah, but this is a big thing. No phones, no regular flashlights, nothing, no music playing or anything, no speakers. So it was a very, very authentic thing, and yeah, it's really freaking awesome. And this is my mug. The leather strapping on it is, well, it was dirty, and so I kind of had to clean it, and it's in the process of drying in a circular form. But for this, I'll say proust and cheers to anyone. I know there's at least one person, not even shitting it, I was so happy. One person said they watched my video on the first year, and it, like, gave them a lot of helpful info, so if that is y'all, let me know. Did you go to year 1? Did you go to year 2? Are you thinking about it? Just let me know. Shoot me comments. But also as a heads up to Ranger friends, this is not a Ranger stream at all. Like, I'm not going to be talking Power Rangers, even... I know, but I'm not really going to be talking Power Rangers. So, Hynafol year 2. If you have any questions about the LARP, or whatever, feel free to post them. One of the biggest things going from year 1 to year 2 was, for us, the not going next year. Oh, you went as a spectator? On Saturday? Awesome! If you wandered around the main area anytime near the fencing, maybe you saw me in my bardness hawking out wares, which I will show. Wow, okay, so differences, let's start between Alamaxia and I, and I'll just say Alamaxia, it's Keith, my husband, but honestly he responds to Alamaxia better than Keith, I think, at some point. So there's between Alamaxia and I, and then there's the actual game. For Alamaxia and I, we took it to the next level. We kind of joke, like, last year we were level 1 in PCs, you know? We didn't have a lot. This year, we added a lot more things. They let timepieces be added into the game because it was really difficult to be like, what time is it? And you're like, I need to consult my magical book. So timepieces were a thing, so we actually got to carry them, and shout out to anyone else who is a fan of Gravity Falls. Because, yeah, if I get to carry a pocket watch, I got one with Bill on it. Might as well have, like, the God and Chaos or whatever. Katie says hi. What up, Kelly Katie? Oh, so yeah, Mustard Ketchup, what was one of your favorite things, like, Saturday when you were a spectator? So one of the, okay, so again, back to Maxie and I, we didn't have to buy so many parts. Like, we already had a substantial costume, so it was just a lot of the accessories. It was a lot of, especially for me, finding out who my character was and kind of gathering a little bits for that. I also, it's Bill Cipher, right? Also, I have my box. This is my box of wares. Oh my god, it's like absolutely awful to try to carry like that. I don't recommend it. But this really cool thing. Oh, leather. Bam. Bam. So basically, I was a wandering bard with, yeah. So I was a wandering bard, and I had, these are my traveling wares, and I had a small bag that I had some, like, shirts and other stuff in. So that was me, like, actually... Yeah, it was pretty cool. So we added a lot more stuff. I planned ahead a little bit more. So that was kind of the difference. I mean, I think for us, at least, we knew a little bit more about what we used year 1, what we didn't use, what we would like to get. Things that were a big hit, we definitely needed to keep going, like Almaxia's friendship scotch that he passed out to everyone. I swear to God, I don't know how we're not sick. he shared his frackin', and I will try not to cuss for this because I do not know who's going to be watching this with kids. He shared that scotch with so many people. I do not know how he's sick. We were on airplanes. Swear to God, I don't know. We're healthy. I'm just as shocked as you are. So, yeah, we're ready. You know, I think we were ready more into it. I was prepared more. I wrote down the schedule. So let's just get straight into. We take alcohol. Alcohol does cure all. It's amazing, right? So, before I say what's the difference between the game in year 2, I'll just, like, our travel was very easy. Thankfully, Almaxia's parents, they live really close, so they actually watched our daughter for, like, a full week. Like, they had to take her to practices, they took her to school. Oh my God, like, they're angels. So, they took care of her, and, so yeah, Almaxia's dad drops us off at the airport. Get there, get an Uber, and we get to our friend's house. So I am probably gonna swap names from them, but I will just give you who they are. Okay. So I will probably say Dominic or Lobos. Lobos is his online name, that's what I know him by. Dominic is his in-game name, that's what I know him by. To be fair, his name's also Mike. I don't think I've ever called him Mike in my life. It's just online friends. Like, you really ever call your online friends by their real first names? No. I swear to God, people will be like, what's up, Ranger? I'd be like, what? Like, you don't even have to say the Liz part. And then, Kendra, whose online name is Bloody Faster. So, yeah, Kendra or Bloody. Anywho, they're married. We were gonna stay at their house, and somehow wires got crossed and we got the wrong address. Like, we had the right street, everything, just the wrong number, and we showed up from the Uber at the wrong house. And luckily the lady that lived there was very nice and was like, well, no, I think that number's over there. So Keith, like, calls, and yeah. Anywho, we end up showing up. And we just had a lot of fun. We went to an HEB, and we got a bunch of stuff because our guild was going to have an event, which I'll be talking about. It was a mead tasting. So we got a bunch of breads and cheeses and wine, and we bought a bunch of crap. But it was fun going out and just, I don't know, just being somewhere different. We did that. I got some Korean, I don't know, it was a bima. It was really good is what I had. And then we watched Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves to, like, get in the mood for it. And we're like, yeah. So, everything basically, and I mean, that night, it was a very much, like, we hung out, but at a certain point, it was like, all right, like, we got to make sure, like, stuff's by the door. So, we ended up getting a U-Haul because there was a total of 5 people's gear coming with us, and it was just way easier than trying to, like, Tetris it in vehicles to, like, split the cost of it was just like a cargo van. It's not like we rented one of the giant ones, you know, it was a cargo van. Oh my God, held everything amazing. One of the things that I upgraded when I mentioned upgrades for the tent, I got a rack, like a clothing rack, just a cheap one, like $10 one. Oh my God, one of the hardest things, I was thinking last year, what was one of the biggest annoyances that I had with it, and that ended up being, I hated bending over for everything. I hated having to, like, dig through to try to find, you know, my shirts that I want, and you're, like, restacking stuff left and right. So I was like, I definitely, you know, hanger. Oh my God, made the world of difference being able to just get stuff up off of the floor. Can't recommend it enough. Also, drop shipping things to your friend's house, fantastic, that you don't have to fly with it. Like, Liz, how would you take a clothing rack? I shipped it to them because I have Walmart Plus and Amazon Prime, and I will just ship it to you. I learned my lesson at Disney. Nobody, just don't stop. Just don't even pack it. Just, on the hanger. That's a great idea. Yeah, man. It was, especially if you're gonna be with, so, like, one thing, it was just Almaxi and I were the only 2 people in the tent. We got, like, the couples package. There is another one where if you want to stay on the grounds, you could just be it, but you're going to be in a room with 2 other people, so it'll be 3 people per tent. if it's someone, especially that, like, you know, it would be so easy to be like, look, man, you want to share it? Like, I'll take one half, you take one half, put it, you know, between your beds or whatever. It's a fantastic way to just make sure that your stuff is off the ground really good. And I even got one of the, it attaches to the middle, and it's got, like, the cubes. It didn't really have cubes, but it had, like, the gaps if you wanted to put cubes. We had those, and that was really great for just stacking. You know, it was like Stacko underwear, check. Stacko socks, check. And it made getting ready in the day way, way easier. So things, what up? What up, hey? Trinley, by the way, more, what's up, everybody? Thanks for being in chat. I know this is not a Ranger one, but I really appreciate y'all being here. Ask questions if you want to know more about Hynafol. Woo! Because we are getting into the differences now between last year and this year as far as a game. Like, this is what we knew before our feet hit the ground, basically. So all of this before, you know, travel, this was like the differences that we were ready. A lot of stuff like that. But basically, once we were packed, which is the craziest thing, because we packed that, and Kendra and I, we were just sitting in the kitchen drinking our coffee, and it's like, I feel like we're late. Like, I feel like we're late, and we're like, it's only 10:30, and we're both just like, go. Like, we're just so freaking excited to go that it was amazing. It was just so fun, like, being with another girl that also was, you know, like, yeah, let's do this. And she is so cool, man. She just, she's online. If you follow her or whatever, she's on Twitch. She goes by Bloody Faster. And she is just genuinely, like, so sweet. And, yeah, getting to hang out with her, is one of the highlights of my trip. Because she just says sometimes, she's the most random shit. And it just makes me laugh. And it's just hanging out with her is just a joy. So, anywho. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dominic is great, too. I didn't really have quite as much interaction with him, but, you know, just saying, it's great. Yeah, I mean, if you want to say it's like D&D IRL, I'm in my full attire, and you are in a living, breathing world. And over the course of the year, there is, like, politics, there's stuff, there's role-playing. I didn't really do any of that, I'm not there yet, you know? But some people do, and they have huge things. So this is kind of like the one time a year they, you know, get to meet up and actually, like, our guild has, so I'm in the guild, the Fulcrum Acolytes, which, I was in Nova Vitae. Nova Vitae is no more Vitae, because no one else was in it except us noobs, and we were like, this is stupid, and we hung out with some Fulcrum Acolytes, i.e. Magnus. So we hung out with them a lot, and so we just ended up joining their guild. So at the first Grand Gathering, there were more guilds, and some of them, you know, went away, some of them, but now there are, well, I would say, there were different guilds the first year. Now there are other guilds, you know, maybe taking the place of them, but it's interesting. There were guilds that got smaller over the course between year 1 and year 2, or a lot of guilds just stayed the same. Fulcrum Acolytes, however, went from like 4-5 members to like 9. And so we got substantial power, let's say. Not like power, but a little bit, you know. We have someone who's on the seat in the council, you know, so that's neat. But as far as, yeah, when you are in the game, like, let's say I go up and I'm hanging out at the lodge, which is a place that they always had free food, drink. It was an honest just lodge. Like, if you were tired, like, literally sit down, we'll get you something to eat, we'll get you something to drink, rest. Like, they're amazing people. But yeah, when you go, like, you're in character. I mean, you're just like, hey, has anybody seen, you know, where's that event happening? And it's like, oh yeah, but I also have to do this, and it's crazy. They added a lot of shit this year. Mustard Ketchup, how does the game progress between the Grand Gathering? So at least from year 1 to year 2, there was more like role-playing servers. So there were areas too. So like I am from the city of Fulcrum. So I could hang out in the city of Fulcrum RP. And if someone maybe were really saying, oh, my character is going to travel this far and this way back, and they wanted to make a log, like, I could RP with them on the server. There's also just guilds get ready and make fun events, or in our case, we just chat and just keep in touch because it's fun, you know, meeting people. But there are other meetups. They did 2, I think, smaller ones in the winter, maybe, were like skirmishes. They were kind of just like a 1-2 day little event. But it's yeah. I love it all. So like reading the rules, there's lands, buildings to pay for. That is if you want. I'll put it, maybe I should start with this. Hynafol is what you want it to be. If you want to get super into, I want to have a building, and I want to have land, and I want to have resources, and I want to start farming, and I'm going to start doing all of this stuff, and you want to get into the politics, more power to you. If you literally want to, like, wake up, hang out all day, and just take in the sights and be a wanderer, you can do that too. And you don't have to touch, like, a penny of in-game currency. So it's about finding a really good balance of what you want it to be. So don't feel overwhelmed, because a lot of that can just wait till later. Or you pick it up, you know, if there are calls and whatnot over the course of the year. There's a lot of people who, at this point, would be happy to answer any of your questions. That hopefully can help. But the lodge, yeah, the lodge is, it's just open and is a great place, for everyone to hang out. If there are mechanics to use, I want to use them. Yeah, there are definitely mechanics in use. Let's talk about one big mechanic, and that was a difference between last year and this year, and that is in-game currency. Not this. This is, I'm missing part. This is part of a leather working set. Which, speaking of the lodge, I'd actually the little bits for it. I had it in my box, and the lodge needed to use some of the leather. It's like leather punches. I'm not really a leather worker, but in my traveling kit, I tried to have things like basic things like needle and thread. I had this in case you needed to like punch a hole in your belt, or, you know, a piece of gear or something, because you are walking and sweating. Like, you're doing stuff a lot. So last year was worse because we had to walk a crap ton more. But like, I was on the last belt loop of the belt that I had, and I was like, I really wish I could punch a new one in it. So I literally bought a leather punch. I didn't use it, but the lodge did, so that made me happy. Currency. This is my little pouch. This is my money pouch. Currency. Now, boo. Okay, well, I don't have a penny on me. Let's say this is a bit. And who knows how fancy or how well this will focus, but yeah, this has got some weight to it, right? That says Hynafol, and then something about 805. I still don't know what the 805 is, but there you go. So this is a bit. There are 3 pennies that make 1 bit, and if you have 6 of these bits, you get a crown, which I should have shown you the crown side first, but that's fine because it's whatever, but that's a crown. So a crown, they said, is what like a peasant could earn in a year or 2, or a peasant in 1 year could earn a crown or 2. So I got a little bit of money. Some of it came from selling things in game. Some of them came from our unfortunate circumstance as to why some of this has happened. Whew. Yeah. Those mugs are great for aesthetic, but seriously, they're not great. I had this wonderful journal. Shout out Orange Ranger Video for sending it to me for Christmas. I'll show you those in a bit. But like, I wrote out the actual what was going to be happening every day. That was helpful. There's currency this year in the game, and I know it's kind of like trailed off of that, but also in it I have a bunch of rings that I was selling. I just got them like cheap off Amazon, and I sold them for cheap in the game, and it worked out fantastic. Oh, this is also for my cloak that broke, and someone gave me a bell. They traded me a bell for something. Oh no, they didn't trade me. She left it. It fell off of something, and she's like, "You can have it." And I'm like, "Okay, why not?" Battles. There are battles. I'm just seeing if I have a penny. Nope. Oh well. So, there's currency. That is a new big thing. There's also land. A lot of that crap that happened. Getting into it this year. We get there. So let's say we go Wednesday. I gotta put my inner gym on also. People loved my inner gym. They had no idea what it was. And I'm just like, yeah, you like it? And then lightly in my head, I went, unleash the power. Because I had to. Yeah, so inner gym. Oh, I think our tale begins. So, wake up, get everything ready, get in the U-Haul. Crap's great. We didn't want to stop for breakfast because Alamaxi and I were in the U-Haul. Everyone else was in Dominic's vehicle or something. I don't remember. I wasn't in that one, so I don't. They took off. They were gonna get breakfast. We're like, we're just going straight there because I'm like, I want to get in. I want to get this all set up. We get there. We get checked in. We hear our tent isn't either like 6C or it was like C6, and it was like, I thought they said C8. Oh God, you know. So we get there, and none of them have letters on them. They're all numbers. We're like, what is this? So we're confused. So we go to Story, get checked in there, because at first, like, you kind of, like, check in the campground, and that's where you sign the waiver of, like, I understand while I'm here, I'm, like, RPing, like, I'm not gonna hold them liable for crap that happened, you know, that kind of stuff. And then they're like, okay, here's your player cards, here's your wristbands, here's everything. Go ahead and go onto the grounds, and then once you're in, you go check in with Story. Story is the big building where anything story related, anything game related, you just go there. That's where they say, you know, they give you the, okay, check in, did you sign up for anything, do you need a ticket for anything, here's your first in-game currency. If you had currency last year's system was a cluster. I'm so glad they got rid of it. Last year they were like little pebbles with a number on, with like a symbol on them that kept rubbing off. It wasn't good. Anywho, this year we have like actual coins, which is pretty awesome. But last year was awful. But so you had people who were like, I got literally the stipend of just what everyone else got. Some people were like, you know, getting stacks. So there's definitely an economy in here, and what you can spend money on in game is not just wares from people like me. There was a candle seller and stuff, but it's also in game if maybe your guild wants to pull resources because you really need help with something and you're small and you need to help hire a guild. You know, you need some muscles. You need to get the order. You need to get someone, you know, strong. You need to hire them. So that's where guild money and stuff like that can definitely come into play. Ooh, oh god. So also this year they added foraging. I'm not even really talking about much about like foraging and alchemy because I was not an alchemist. I did not do foraging. It was the mode, there weren't enough of them. The ingredients didn't show up fast enough. People didn't turn in potions fast enough. Yeah, it just, it was a run. You know, it was kind of a beta run. You know, they tried it and it worked enough, and I think people enjoyed it, and like they're gonna build on it. You know, it's just it'll be better next year. But as far as like foraging and stuff went, I was kind of disappointed because like I never found anything. The people I was hanging out with found one thing when we got separated, and there was just enough for all of them, and I didn't even get one. I was like, okay, so why am I doing this? You know, why am I out here foraging again when clearly, yeah. The currency used for food in game, if you wanted to give the tavern in-game currency, you could, but like the lodge, everything was free, and then as far as like the actual where you ate dinner and stuff, they only took real currency. There were vendors. I actually need to start with this, is that there were actual vendors there, like for multiple days, selling mugs. Alamaxia had to buy 2 of them this year because one of them didn't make it past Thursday night. First day he had it, maybe went away, so that sucked. You know, you really don't have to worry about things walking away, and I know that I say that as Keith did, but like I honestly think that somebody just accidentally grabbed it, didn't realize it, thought it was theirs, that, you know, and it's what it is. You know, everybody seemed, most things turn up. But there were actual vendors there. Some of them had things for in-game currency too, which I thought was neat. There was one, he bought a dagger off of me for 3 bits, actually. I didn't even curse it, which I kept telling everybody. They were like, well, how much is the dagger? And I go, well, it's 3 bits, but it's 4 bits if you want it to be curse free. I'm like, well, what's the curse? Can't tell you. How long does the curse take effect? 24 hours. So you won't know what the effects are for 24 hours. Do you really want to take that chance? And so, yeah, I didn't curse it for the vendor guy. I let him just have it for flat 3 bits, which honestly he's probably just gonna turn and flip at like a Renaissance fair or whatever this weekend, you know, for some profit, and like, hey, more power to him, right? We both got our beaks wet. I'm fine with that. So that was someone was like, he's probably just gonna resell it. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like, I made my money for it, right? Oh, yeah. So when you were there was a real money food vendor, but the lodge was cooking it briskets and stew. Yeah, that's just what they do, man. The lodge, the Fulcrum Acolytes, again, the guild I'm in, we kind of borrow the lodge. We don't really have a headquarters, so we just hang out there, and we've kind of they've let us have it as our also kind of headquarters. Excuse me. I was interested in getting some things from the Sixers are real money. Pouchers, bracers, yeah, they had a lot of stuff. I honestly don't even think I ended up seeing all of them. I was always really, it's like you're busy doing something, and that minute you can find downtime, I just flop, you know? It's like I just want to sit and just people watch for a minute, you know? Sit, grab a drink, take a deep breath. It's one of those times I felt like I was like in spring break again, where you feel like you almost kind of drink all day, but you really don't. Because you just look like you go in there and there's like an ale or something or cider, and you pop in, chug some water, get a little bit of it, and you're like, oh, okay, you know, and you're just walking the whole time, like you're doing crap. Let's pull up the calendar. Okay. Gates open, so let's actually, Wednesday. Okay. Wednesday was player orientation, and that was something that, I guess from last year, they were like, we didn't really do, you know, we did like a welcome, but we didn't do like a player orientation, which I guess would have been helpful. Sure. I mean, I think I did alright, but, so, with the player orientation, that was at 5, And it took about an hour, and it just kind of went over the very basics of what being in a LARP this big is. Like, what do you do if you really need to just actually talk to someone, you know, out of character? So everybody kind of has the same basis, you know, which it does make it really helpful whenever you know you see somebody being like this. It's like the okay symbol, but like when you kind of like to your chest, it's kind of like the are you okay, like in real life. And it did make it really helpful that everybody kind of knew that symbol, and so you could use it if you needed. Very basics on combat. They did, if you were going to do combat, they did basically say you had to go to combat training. I did do combat training last year. This year, I only caught a bit of it. I didn't actually do combat, but I like to see what's new. But I was too busy running around getting crap done. So player orientation, that was fun. Or opening ceremonies, it was neat. It was nice. So this year, instead of the Lionheart Tavern, where things were last year, the main bar, whatever, it was at a place called the Trip to Jerusalem. It was much bigger. There was a balcony. They actually had a sound system, and so it was great. You could actually, like, hear the opening, just the welcome and everything, and it was a lot of fun. And then, you know, you walk through the mist, which is kind of the your party, or like your guild, or sometimes, you know, 2-3 guilds go off, and you kind of have your own way. You know, you have a leader telling you how you're entering the mist. But then once that happens, and also nothing actually starts on time. So just assume if you are there, nothing starts on time. If you show up at the minute it's supposed to start, you will probably be early. I don't know of many things, like my guild's personal event, we started on time. Because we're the freaking Fulcrum Acolytes, and we're the knowledge snooty. Like, we started on time. We had, like, 4 of us had timepieces on us. Okay, we had that. That mead was going at 2. Went to a wedding. My guildmate's wedding. 10. I started at 10. Everything else, God help you. Just show up at some point. Walking up the castle down, I mean, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. So, after all of that, there was a thing called the Valraven Monster event, which I wasn't really even sure what that was. There was a jam session. I didn't take place in it, even though I had a drum. Wednesday was just hanging out with friends. It was the guild. It was, we went to this thing. Okay, so we also find out through all of this, here's where the game comes in, and there are 12 shards of Excalibur, and we have to rebuild Excalibur. If we want to try to bring back Arthur, there's a whole lore story of this. If you want lore, you are not in the right place, because God hell, I have no idea. But we were looking for shards. We were also looking for eggs, because apparently they were going to be dragon eggs. And you're looking for them. So we went to this thing called the Heralds of the Mist Dragon. We were trying to go to it anyway. We never ended up getting to it. But we ended up all just looking for shards. But the thing is, none of us knew what they were looking for. They were like, it's like a black thing with some silver on it. And we're like, what the it's dark. Like, I'm using a candle. Can you be... Is it bigger than a breadbasket? Like, at all? Is it bigger than a phone? Okay. They ended up being here for size, and if you're just listening, I'm holding up like a makeup compact. They were like this big, or maybe a little bigger. It looked like a giant-ass Minecraft foam sword that they like cut up in 12 pieces. Which is what it probably was, because it needed to be big for the effect of it all, right? Man, I want to think like, what the heck even happened on just Wednesday at this point that did I even take notes? By the end, there were no notes at all. Oh, guild meeting. That's what, we had a giant old guild meeting. Because this is just boring kind of guild stuff, but because we were in Nova Vitae and everybody else left, we have absorbed the lands, and because we are previous tenants of the guild and the lands, I have some in my name, and there's... Yeah. Anywho, long story short, the Legatus role is now belonging to Alamaxia Iron Mold. That guy. And we have a really big gold sword heading our way. And then we've got Rafe is the shield and Dominic is the sword. Which is great, because Dominic's hand broke his wrist, so he couldn't actually fight with the sword. 12 Shards Excalibur. Oh, and then they joked I could make up a battle song, which I kind of did, but meh. That was about it. Wednesday was okay. You know, like, let's relax. I think maybe it was Wednesday or Thursday. Either way, one of the days I had the lodge sing me happy birthday, because my birthday was the 4th. And it was, you know, only a few days later. And so they sang me happy birthday. And the very nice lady behind the bar showed me where the really good beer was on tap. Because I don't like mead. And here's the thing. I absolutely love, though, the fact that I got mead. Because I got it from Magnus. And it has my name on it. And he made me my own mead. And I am going to treat it just like I treated this beer that I was I was given a beer a long time ago as part of a soccer thing, and it's just it's on the shelf. It's like, it's art now. It's up. So like I put it on. I'm just saying, Magnus, your mead is like in the china cabinet now, so it's in good hands. But I did have really good beer while I was there. Let's talk about some stuff. So Thursday starts. Thursday is when shit, like, you wake up, it's get your breakfast, get yourself ready, things get going, right? Because you also have to consider with daylight savings, we have only so many hours of daylight. There is some, like, light. They did add more lighting this year, which was helpful. They added too much lighting in certain areas, which was kind of, like, detrimental to the whole thing. Again, it's going to be a balance. The areas that I thought I was going to break my ankles in last year, there was enough lighting. I felt safe. Like, and by safe, I don't mean, like, safe like someone's going to attack me. I mean safe as in, like, I'm not going to fall over a tree root and, like, break my ankle. At no point in the entire event, and I do want to make this clear, at no point in the entire event did I ever worry about my well-being. I never worried about feeling, I was never uncomfortable. I was never like it was just one of those, like, I never worried about anything happening to me while I walked. I 100% could have been hammered walking back to my tent, and if anything, I would have people be like walking me back to my tent, like, to help me. I never would ever feel scared. So I do just want to make that abundantly clear for anyone if you're hearing me talk about, like, feeling safe walking. But the paths were better in some instances. They were too bright. It's just going to take some tooling to what finds the better. Breakfasts, here's the good and the bad of it. It was breakfast tacos, but it was every day. I like breakfast tacos. By the last day, I did not want another breakfast taco. The first day, they ran out of, like, bacon. Did not anticipate how many. Also, the food, the hours that were given to us originally, that were on our info things that we all had, was not the hours that the place actually ended up serving. And so it was quite annoying. That breakfast was from, like, 8 to 9:30 or something. So, battle training ended up happening, and I missed most of it because I was still, like, between trying to get breakfast and trying to get everything ready. I knew that I wasn't actually going to be battling. I was just simply going to be, like, watching and drumming. If you are female or female presenting or whichever, or just don't simply feel comfortable with the male, there is a Lex Talionis is a female women-only guild and they do a women-only battle training. So if you're going and you're like, battle training sounds fun, but I'm still like a bit nervous, there are many ways for you to get into it. As far as the battle goes, it was fun. We battled inside the grounds of Sherwood Forest Fair. We battled the Lionheart Tavern. Like, it was freaking cool. It was cool as hell. Like, last year, I was sitting there having a beer, someone up there with the violin playing, and there were still some musicians, some that Hynafol, like, you know, paid for, like, to have there just for ambiance. There were some that people just brought, you know, instruments and that were playing. And it was so cool that I'm like, oh, shit, like, these trying to freaking get in, like, oh, we're having a battle in this, like, medieval town. That was so cool. And with it, and it's just like, there's always, like, it's the pros and the cons, right? With it, they scooted all of us together in the same area because they used a lot of that back area for battles. And that was bitchin'. Just seeing these areas, like, actually being battled in. Seeing people, shout out to the dude at Stills. There was a guy who played a monster because there was a lot more in play now, and so you could, like, get a monster for your side for skirmishes, and this guy was a monster. He's sitting up there on, like, 12-inch stilts, massive, like, oh my god, it was crazy. By this point, though, it was Wednesday. Well, okay, you have to imagine this. Wednesday was really hot, and that was the day we were packing. And even, I mean, Tuesday, Alamaxi and I flew. We were kind of icky. Wednesday, all day, I mean, just sweaty, sat out. I did not even tell you about my tent issue. We'll get to that. But I just felt disgusting. And at some point I learned, and this is thank you to therapy and last year and therapy, I had to be able to take myself away from something that I was enjoying because I knew that I needed to do something else. And that was, I was enjoying watching the battle. However, the battle, mind you, it was supposed to have started, it was from like 10 to 12:30. It's like 11, and this thing still hasn't started. By the time it's going, it's just kind of ick. Like, Alamaxi's gear is rubbing him wrong. He is not having a great time. It is 1,000,000,000 degrees. We know that it could possibly start raining that night. The temperature is gonna drop. And as fun as I was having, I'm just like, I just need a shower. That's all I could think about was, I just need a shower. And we did have, there are running showers all the way out in the camp, but it's not that far. But there are actually, you know, warm showers. Also, this year, they were flushing bathrooms. Last year, there were only porta potties. This year, they were flushing toilets. Oh my god, it was so much better. That was a game changer. Just flushing toilets, being able to go in. An actual bathroom, so like when it was raining, be able to like get in for a second and not be like trying to put your gear on. It was great. So basically, before the final battle, I knew they were going to like round 3 or something, and I was just like, nope, I'm done. And I just went for the shower, and it was amazing. I took a shower, I got myself out, I put on like my makeup and stuff. I felt like $1,000,000 because then the temperature started dropping. So that is my if you want to fight and have a great time, do it. But at the same time, oh my god, there's nothing quite like just taking a shower and getting all the gook off. We did not do any of the Fey Court stuff. Maceball, man, they need to do sign-ups for these events ahead of time. They really do. And it can try to keep people accountable. Because nobody came to these events because there's just so much other crap happening. Like, there's, right for the Maceball, maybe not so much, but also, okay, that was a really long run-on sentence to basically say the battle went over too much. So everybody was exhausted or trying to get a shower or trying to get some food. So nobody did the Maceball tournament. So, like, people who just 4 people who stood together and played a little, like, won awesome prizes. Our mead tasting was like $230. That also was, you know, the Order 4v4 tournament. So if you wanted to do this mead tasting, you couldn't do this fighting tournament that was happening at the same time as another fighting tournament. And I think just going in, you know, there is a feedback forum, and that's where I'm going to be trying to put a lot of this. But we have to do something about getting people to sign up ahead of time to hold them, like, I signed up for it, I need to do it, because these events would be great if there were enough people. To kind of go back, Mustard Ketchup, how many people were there in total? I believe they announced about 175. So you also have to, yeah, so in all of this, there's only like 175 people. You run into the same people a lot, especially if they have a memorable outfit. Oh man, I needed that. So, let's see. Here we are. We're on Thursday, right? We do our mead tasting. It's awesome. Torst Helvlin is a dwarf guild. They're having some issues with dragons right now. They did a beer and cider tasting. Really didn't get to them much because at this point, I feel like we were just looking for food. Wandering around, crap was going on. I think it was, oh yeah, so the Carnival Night of Magic. I had 8. This is offense against my travel party, but this is the honest to God truth here. I'm like, it says it's 8. Well, on the ticket it says 6. Or Sundown. That's last year's ticket. They're reusing them. We end up, just killing time between like 6:30 and 8. I am at some point I do get my stuff out and I'm trying to like hawk wares, trying to get into it, but I was like I was not pleased that we just had to like kill time. But you know what? At the end of the day, we're just gonna hang out at the lodge anyway, right? Right. So Carnival Night of Magic, we got signed up for it. They're 5-man teams. I don't even know what to say about it. It was like, we got this list of stuff. We couldn't really hear what was going on. Everyone took off. We thought we were doing okay, and then we got massive, like, we just got shanked by someone a whole bunch, and then we found out we were on task, like, 3, and it was already over. It did not take an hour and a half. People were done with it in, like, 20 minutes. Somebody had already won. You're like, well, great. So, that was kind of meh. However, it worked out fine because there was the Sellers Keep Masquerade. The Masquerade, oh my god, Sellers Keep, it was hats off to you. It was freaking awesome. So, Sellers Keep is the mischievous guild, let's say. If you need someone unalived, you pay someone in Sellers Keep. It's also really nice because, you know, you're thinking in-game and whatnot, connections and whatnot that you have. I also play, my character is very friendly with a lot of people. I'm a bard, I'm a wandering bard. I show joy and just camaraderie with about anyone, right? And so you can make a lot of fun. So I do appreciate that even though Sellers Keep is kinda an enemy of Fulcrum Acolytes, I do love that I have two people that I could, one definitely that I could call on in Sellers Keep, and another one that would be like, oh no, I know, she'll pay me, she's good for it. Sometimes it's good to know the people with really sharp knives. Because I don't have a knife. I didn't even carry a weapon on me. Which was funny, like at one point, they're like, protect yourself! I just like got my drumsticks out. What the fuck am I supposed to do? So, I have to pull this out because I kept it in my journal thing so it didn't get bent. This. Sellers Keep. If I had a hat, I would take it off to them. They did a murder mystery spin, and it was abso-freaking-amazing. When you walked in to the event, you got this, and if you're just listening, sorry. But it looks like a worn piece of paper, and on it, well, you don't open it yet, but you get this, and you're like, oh god. So at first, my first thought is, well, this is how I'm gonna be poisoned. As seller's key. I'm like, well, this envelope is how my character dies. So we get in, and it ends up being like, you are here for murder. It's like, what the they do this whole murder mystery. Basically, they set up, there's a whole storyline, there's people acting out this thing. Someone ends up dead. And it's up to us, like the people in the building, to figure it out. But obviously, there's a winner. So, like, you want to be the person, or you're with other people who you wish to share whatever the winnings is with. You get together. So this is where it comes in. Also, and I mean, this is full on, like, wax sealed. Are you kidding me? This is amazing. So these are all the different characters. So mine said, early in the night, Dujak mentioned that the now deceased victim ought to be put out of their misery. So if you had it and someone else had the same information, it was confirmed. And we had, like, 2 hours to basically, well, not 2 hours. By the time everything was going on, you had about an hour. Who was it? And someone ended up, they did solve it. But it was just like, I think, and that was also the night I was exhausted, and I was just telling myself, I'm going to bed at a somewhat decent time on Thursday. I think I went to bed at, like, 11:30. Alamax and I was like, I'm going to bed. You can stay up. You have fun. Whatever you need to do. I need to go to bed. And that's fine. And honest to God, next year, when, we'll talk about the if we come back, we seriously will just get cots. That's what Kendra and Dominic did. They didn't get the mattress. They were like, it was really annoying. We just got 2 cots. And we're like, really? You guys aren't even going to sleep in the same bed together? No, you know what? We come back again next year. Ellen, Maxine, and I, we're doing the couples package, and we're getting 2 cots because we can, the tent will be easier to set up. We will sleep better. We won't have to crawl over each other. It was a pain in the butt. So, yeah. Anywho, went to bed. Before I get to Friday, I've been at this for almost an hour. I'm going to run up and go to the bathroom. My cat is already at me. Because once... I mean, I really flew through Thursday. Well... I gotta go through more of my stuff. Sorry, my cat just took all of my attention. I'm gonna run up and go to the bathroom really quick. And then... I'm gonna tell you about my tent. And I'm gonna, fortunately, tell you about some of the shittier parts. There is good. Yeah. There is plenty of good. I'll be right back. I'm back and I brought a drum. I really appreciate the music at that exact point. So, this is my Tabor drum that I got for it. I have this wonderful strap on it. This thing stayed strapped to my back, like, the entire weekend, unless it was off and I was drumming with it and had sticks. It was a lot of fun. I got to drum for some battles, or just, you know, hanging out in town, or just kind of making a beat. And I think people enjoyed it, and I was providing a bit of ambiance, let's say, for the whole thing. My cat is gonna be up here in like 2 seconds. Let's start with a little small retelling of us getting there. Also known as, Liz, how the hell did you get this crown? Our tent wasn't there. So, I feel like I just glossed over this whenever I said, you know, we took off early so we could get there, and I guess I got sidetracked. We check in with story. Tent wasn't there. Well, everyone else, so what happened was, oh, cat. So what happened was, yeah, we were told, no, I think I already did tell you this. I'm sorry, my brain is, like, so rocked up right now. Anywho, long story short, we were told to go to a certain tent. It wasn't actually there. Once they found out what happened, we had to wait for a tent. So everyone else was getting changed. Everyone else was getting their tents ready. All of their stuff. And, like, Alamaxi is helping, you know, or whatever, wandering around. And I'm just sitting with our stuff, like, on a bench. And so I'm just like, so, like, I open the cooler, I grab a beer, and I'm like, okay, what can we do? So I have the rolling rack, or not the rolling rack, the clothing rack. I'm like, I'm gonna build it. And so I'm asking what's going on. I eventually, you know, I'm asking up the story. Keith's doing other stuff, so I'm up where, you know, the hell is our tent? Due to a computer issue, a family did order 2. Like, they did 2 tents. They got 2 tents. They got there and they took 2 tents. The computer system and the line, whatever, only had them put up X amount of tents. We didn't have a tent. So everybody else was getting ready, and we didn't have a freaking tent. So that really just set, like, the whole, by the way, like, Wednesday opening. So we show up. I try to show up early, and I am so behind. And I kind of just felt behind, like, a lot. And it was really annoying. But it was, you know, we got there, and it was over an hour before, like, they had to figure out what was going on. Once they did figure out what was going on, yes? I have a cat. Thanks. So here I am. I'm being the person taking care of the tent issue, and I'm just like, Alamaxi. Yeah, he's doing something else right now. And it was horribly frustrating, and I'm just sitting there, and they're like waiting for someone to drive by or answer their communicator, so they could get them to go get a tent, so they could build it for us. So I was very frustrated. And unfortunately for me, when I get very frustrated, I cry, because that's what my body does. So I'm just, you know, I'm just there, and I'm just like, I'm, you know, tears are in my face. I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, there's nothing I can do about this. Like, that's just, you know, I'm gonna try to get things done that I can to prep for whenever the tent. I was getting stuff out of packaging, whatever I could. Like, I was getting the tarp out and shaking. It's just, but for my, basically for their, oh crap, my bad, they gave us a crown. which I got a hold of because I was the one who dealt with the whole tent thing. He was helping other people or something. I actually don't really have a freaking clue where he was. He was off and about sometimes, probably talking to people. Ow, cat, you're killing me. That's a much shortened version of me just wasn't a great way to start the event. Thursday was fun because Gildy got married. They actually just got married in real life, and so they like got married in game. There are things to do with the dragon shards. There's a lot of lore and everything to it that I kind of just glossed over. The wedding, though, was really cool because they, like, had an in-game wedding. And so it was, like, all of our in-game friends. Like, we were all there together, you know? It wasn't, like, it was just this quick little, you know, ceremony, you know, I do. But it was just like, oh, like, we're all actually getting to be here. Like, we couldn't go to a real wedding, you know? But it was really nice that we got to actually, like, be together and kind of have, you know, that moment and stuff together. There was 3 battles. Let's talk skirmishes, I guess. Spinning a lot now because I'm like, oh god, okay. Pop goes the fingers. Timing is relative in Hynafol. Just because it says it's going to actually start at 10 doesn't mean it's not going to start until 11:30. Doesn't mean it might not start until whenever. And just because something starts at 6 p.m. doesn't mean it didn't already happen at 2. The best way to find out is good old-fashioned word of mouth. And if you are interested in something, I beseech you to just ask randomly throughout the day, hey, are you going to blah, blah, blah? Like, for me, it was like, let's say I really wanted to go to the Fae tea party, right? And it was supposed to have been, noon on Friday, right? Friday morning, I'm waking up, and I'm just like, I see a Fae, like, hey, looking forward to the Fae tea party, still at 12, right? Because you don't freaking know when it has gotten changed. There was a battle that was supposed to have been at 6, and then I heard that it was going to be at 12, and then, like, it actually ended up not being until 2 in a different location. It's all cluster. It's, again, it's one of those, next year, hopefully it gets better, but I hate that we had a calendar, we had a schedule, and you couldn't rely on it. If it was, let's put it this, if it was game related, you couldn't rely on it. If it was guild related, it probably would start on time unless they needed more people and they were waiting and they were trying to pull more people for something. Let's move to Friday now. Friday rolls around and there's like a chess tournament. We did not get into it. Friday morning. Wait, was the wedding Friday morning? I'm just gonna blur all my days together. I don't think anything too crazy happened Friday morning that I'm remembering. Usually any of my downtime, I just spent with my thing out trying to make a little try and make a little crown, you know what I'm saying? The March Wardens game tournament, that was at 3. And that was actually, the picture of that is where the thumbnail came from, was of Alamac seeing them. They were playing, Texas Hold'em. We were in Texas, and what the hell else are you gonna play? So, yeah, they played that. There was that. There was also Liar's Dice. There were, I think some of the fun things are just what random people will bring. There was someone who had a hammer, and they were doing, like, a test of strength. Like, if you could lift a hammer a certain amount. Like, quick bet games, almost, you know, and that was great. And it was just a quick, you know, if you had someone who's like, I'm not really gonna spend my money on anything, and they're like, you know, bit to try, can you do it? And you're like, oh yeah, and you know, you get the whole crowd up and going. It was so much fun. It was things like that that just made made the area alive, and it made it feel like home. It made it feel, yeah, it made it feel like home. It's crazy that, you know, you only spend a few days there a year, and yet I swear I felt more at peace just sitting at the lodge. Like, yeah. It's crazy, right? Like, how much it gets you? How much you miss your friends? Yeah, let's see. Anything that I could talk about for Friday or Saturday? Not really. I bought a candle, and the person who I bought, it was a fake. It was an LED candle, but they actually sell candles. And so whenever I bought one of the fake candles they gave me a little real candle in real life. I'm just like, aw, thank you. Last year I hung out with the dwarves, and I was talking about dwarf balls and all of that. Totally did not get to hang out with the dwarves at all this year. There was an extra set of thing out there, like they did with the lodge. They helped make it bigger, and I don't know. We just didn't end up in there. These were from the lodge. So this is the lodge symbol. They put them on these, and they were like, okay, I didn't actually eat them because I think they were roasted pecans. But they're lodge nuts. Anywho, these are really cute. This is Alamaxia's whatever, but oh, also, so for my birthday, Kendra, who is lovely, I was eyeing this as a pen because I was starting to write more, but this is an actual glass. Oh, come on now. So this is glass, and the ink, like, I don't know, sorry, like, gets up in it. You can write a lot by just dipping this into a bit of ink, because I was trying to, as my character was trying to write things down, I was having issues because my pen looks, honestly, it looks like a plucked goose. It was horrible. But it also came with this little thing of ink. So I'm planning on, I don't know, at this rate, January, I'm gonna write Kendra and Dominic a thank you note with that pen. Eventually. We'll get there. Aha! Okay. Found another one of my bits. Aha! And I also found Penny! These are so high quality. Really, though. Like, they really did, like, put work into the coins and whatnot. I also got dice, but I didn't really end up using them for anything. The Game Wardens tournament, it was fun, but, you know, this started late simply because they needed more people, and they needed more people, and they were just trying to call out for them. Eventually, the thing that we ended up doing is the Voyage Maru bonfire party, and that was just fun to be out and about, but that's when, like, monsters and stuff started attacking. I had the Fey Protection Ring, which means I couldn't get attacked by monsters. It was great. I loved Voyage Maru. Very, very wonderful people. I love them so much. They're just, like, kind souls, and I had such great interaction with two of their members. Well, with Kizzy and Manfree, and then the Lady of the Lake, who Lady Nymph, and I don't actually know if she was in there or not. But anywho, okay, 45. I could totally get this another hour. There was an assassination and sneak game, and I'm sorry that I didn't go to it. Oh, at one point, I do not remember what night it was. On one of those times where I just said we had time to kill and whatever, we were helping out Sellers Keep with an initiation quest, and it was about Magnus getting killed, and yada yada. We stood there for a while, and Kendra and I got bored, and we walked off, and then Magnus got killed. My bad. It is fine. He didn't blame us. He was probably drunk, and he doesn't remember to blame us anyway. Right? Because this mead's awesome. So here's what happened during the assassination and sneak game. I didn't go to it because it was Guys. Ooh. Guys started as a pun. It was in... Okay, so as Mustard Ketchup was asking, what happens between? Lore building happens. Guys happens. Guy is, he's in a lodge or something, and it started as a weird take on male burlesque dancing, but he was gonna call it Guys, and it just took off. And this isn't even RP, this is just in general chat. Everybody loved it so freaking much that he turned it into an event. I heard something where y'all go? We're going to Guys, and I'm just I'm sorry. That I know what that is. You telling me that's a real thing. And we went, and it was great. It was not stripping. It wasn't like that. It was like a dance show, burlesque comedy at some point. It was just a really awesome performance, and for 35-40 minutes, oh my god, it was just, you were laughing, you were screaming. It was amazing. And so if you've seen my handle for a while, I just took it off today, but I put Operation Muscle Mommy because it wasn't just guys, there's also guys, gals. And they had some girls go up there too. One, I know she was, I swear she has to be an actual burlesque dancer. Or just a dancer or someone, because she has she was graceful as, she knew what she was doing. It was awesome. And then there were people who were just having a ton of fun. And you're laughing because you're laughing with them. And that was amazing too. And then, was it Atusa? She crushed a watermelon with her thighs. And then I was and that's what ended the night. And I was I need to start working out. So, I have already, since we've been back, I have we had a home gym, and we got it when we moved, and I never used it, but anywho. I've dug it out because it was just so freaking awesome. And now in the chat, we're talking about someone was asking, well, we need the fur-clad, women drummers. And Alamax is my husband, tagged me. He's she has drum? So that's kind of my goal, I guess, coming out of this was, thanks, guys. For giving me a goal. My goal is to at least... Okay, I'm not saying I'm gonna do it, but maybe I will at least feel comfortable being a background character in it while drumming, and maybe maybe I could wear my normal pants, but just bikini, a fur bikini top or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But Guys was amazing, and they have inspired me for Guys, Gals, that now I am, gonna get in shape. It's fine though. I'm trying to, I gotta see what her name is, man. In fact, Taorna. Yeah. So, this chick, Taorna, she's my goal, and I will never, ever hit that goal, but she's I'm gonna put a poster over her, in her full armor, whenever, you're at the gym, and you're I'm gonna look like that, she's gonna be my freaking, oh my god, if she listens to this, I'm gonna really, freak out, I'm sorry. Well, seriously, seeing her armor, I'm just yes! So, yeah, but So I've been trying to do the workout stuff, but thanks to guys. So whew. So we get to Saturday. Mood wise, I'm just gonna say Alamaxia did not sleep Thursday night, I believe. So Friday was really rough for him, which I also think is, yeah, and then the wedding and stuff like that. So Friday's kind of rough for him. He didn't sleep much. He went to bed a little early, and he was having a better day going into Saturday until Saturday night happened. Saturday is the big day. Saturday is spectator day. It's when people who don't pay for the full immersion package, they just want to see what it's about. It's great for people who are like, I'm interested in this, but I'm not going to commit to this yet. You know, like, what's this about? Or you just want to see what a giant Larp battle is like, you know? So Saturday rolls around, and the big thing, the final battle. And afterwards, it says, we're gonna do the group photo, which I thought usually was at, like, Trip to Jerusalem. They ended up taking a picture after the battle on Saturday, which I was really, really worried for a while that was going to be the group photo, but they did end up on Saturday later in the day, like once it was getting dark, coming back, and they did a group photo. Saturday was the final battle, and I can't believe that I'm even saying this, but, like, I didn't battle at all. And I figured at least one of the days I'd get in there and have fun. I didn't. I really enjoyed myself doing, just hanging back and relaxing and taking it all in. And all of those things that I told myself I was going to do, I did, and it was great. And I'm really thankful that I did that, and that I listened to myself and was like, well, I know I kind of want to sit here and watch the battle, but I really want to go do this other stuff. But then you have that, like, sunk cost fallacy of, like, well, I'm already here, and there's other people here, and I'm just like, no, like, go. Like, just go. Like, enjoy yourself. This is your vacation. This is your everything. So the final battle was a bloodbath. This will go under suggestions for next year. We have to be able to know what the hell we're fighting for. This final battle, no friggin' clue. Like, we didn't know what was really happening. It was just, I don't know, man. It was one of those, like, I don't even know, like, who's on what side. And I get that there was stuff you could have read before, and although I feel like the final battle one wasn't, but, like, we knew, like, okay, it was the Alliance, or not the Alliance, or whatever. We're trying to take over more lands, but then we're like, but wait, but there's, like, the hilt of Excalibur. It was just really hard to know exactly what were the terms of the battle. That was definitely a downside in it, because people who weren't were like, I have no idea. Like, we were there, and we still didn't really know what was going on. Good thing about the battle, they changed up to where it wasn't, like, the same thing 3 times. It was like, round 1 is this, round 2 is this, round 3 is this. So that was fun. It definitely made it more fun to watch the battles, and there were different objectives, especially when things like the tavern one at the Lionheart Tavern, it was like, okay, we're doing it this way. Okay, now we have to switch, which I get is a generic whatever, but it was fun to get to see both sides defend, the inside of this. And I have to tell you, the spectators we were in, like, if you're familiar with the tavern, there's stairs, like, built up, and there's a, seating and whatnot, and that's where we were. We were just chilling in the seat, like, watching this battle. Full on, they were like, look, you might get hit with an arrow. And we're like, it's cool. It's cool. Oh, one thing about Friday I forgot to mention. about the bonfire was I was having so much fun. I was actually, like, legit really in my character. I was enjoying being this traveling bard and yelling and whatever. So I wrote these out. Please locate Ricing the Bard for a small price. And I paid William a penny to paid him a full penny, I did, to go distribute them around and to see if anybody would find one. And so he put them out when it was still daylight. Nobody came by, and he's like, I think I may have hit him too well. And I'm like, okay, if you're out and about tonight, can you put him somewhere a little more conspicuous? But I did. I had somebody actually find me, and it was amazing. Or maybe it was Saturday? I don't remember. I feel like there was a fire or something. It was after the roundtable event. Anywho, I'm mixing up all my crap, but it was really cool to have someone, like, a little kid, like, find me. Like, I got this, and I just, I gave him one of my wares, and I was just like, this is awesome. No, it was Saturday, but there was a fire, and I can't... Now I'm blanking on when or what it was around, but... Everything starts blending together, right? Right. Saturday, final battle, group photo. Again, things like Maceball, they just really need to get people to sign up ahead of time. Get more information out about what it is, where it's going to be, what to do. Put out, I mean, seriously, let me know. Give me a script. I'll make you a 3-minute YouTube video about Maceball. Like, this is what you need to do. This is how you play it. I don't even, I mean, I say that, but, like, I don't even know how to play it. But, when it comes to, so there's the fencing tournament. That was fun because we were just in the area. Because, well, Alamaxia did, we were like, hey, you should do it. So we were kind of waiting for it, and then, oh no, I was waiting for it, I forgot. He was doing RP stuff with the Empress. Like, he was with, because our guild got kind of powerful. So, the leader of our guild was talking to the Empress, who's in charge of the other, like, continent. We have a really good port and a lot of information and a lot of people. So, we're kind of powerful, which I really love. Because knowledge is power, bitches. Yeah. So the fencing tournament was fun. Saturday was neat because that's where I think a lot of people had, that's where, like, the hammer, can you lift the hammer? It was, like, bets of money. I had my store out a lot. I did a lot of business with people. I think I probably gave away a few little rings or whatever just to people. Especially if they didn't have in-game currency. I was like, this ring is literally worth a nickel. So, like, I'm not even gonna be like, give me $1. Cause, like, it's like maybe a quarter. It's closer to it. So, but yeah, but it was, I don't know. But it was just more one of those fun, like, there are people like, are you in the game? Like, are you part of it? Like, no, like, I brought this from home. Like, this box was, this box was kind of my baby. I've figured out how to do it. And over the course of the event, I could go from fully set up, hawking my wares, to, and mind you, I got my inspiration from this from Ida, the owl lady, if you like the owl house. Under 2 minutes, I can be gone. And I know maybe that doesn't seem like, at first it's like, I have this wandering whatever. Honestly, it's probably about 1 minute. I toss everything in, close, grab all the stuff, toss it in, probably about 1 minute, I'm gone. Within 2 minutes, I can be a ghost. And I love it. And I can be reset up in, if I want it to look good, 5 minutes. I can be reset up in a whole new location. That was a blast for me. In-game money that you started with, if you had nothing to your name going into the event, just like I did, you did receive 1 bit. You received 2 pennies. 3 pennies equal a bit, so the equivalent of, you know, 5 pennies or whatever. Have fun with. I was selling rings. The equivalent of little rings like this, like little just pinky rings, accessory rings, you know, you could get, that's definitely a pinky ring. Anywho, I was selling these, 2 for a penny. Made a little bit, although seriously, next year, the money's in candles. It's all in candles. I also had, if you're wondering, I had some of these wonderful potion bottles, sold, had some with wine. Oh, that's... Oh. That's about it. And I had, cloak clasps were actually a really big seller. Because everybody had their cloaks on. They wanted something to give it a little bit of extra, bling. You know, for lack of a better word. Just to give it something to kind of stick out. So that was neat. Saturday was cooler. You know, you're kind of wearing all of your gear. It's been raining. I've been trying to keep this more upbeat. There were definitely, like, it was rainy. It was icky. You're just kind of wet and disgusting. But you don't really mind. Like, I didn't mind it. Like, also because our tent was completely dry. If our tent leaked, I probably would have been way more pissed. But everything was dry, you know, it was just kind of an annoyance. I didn't see anything about, like, combat archery or whatever. 6:30, however, was the round table. And the round table was weird. The round table is the big event that kind of is the culmination of all of the little stuff leads up to Saturday, and then all of the Saturday stuff leads up to, and I swear story, like, to some extent, cuts off at, like, 3 p.m. And it's, 6:30 is the round table, and that's the big thing, and we were trying to bring back Arthur, and I couldn't hear a damn word was going on. I think there was an Arthur, but maybe it was a bad Arthur? And for the life of me, I'm not really sure. And then things started getting crazy. We couldn't really know what was going on. And with story, it was just... It sucked because we wanted to know what was going on. Like, we were actively trying to be a part of the story, not to be a part of the story, we were trying to know what was going on in the story. And it's just really frustrating when it's just like, how do you find this all out, and you can't, or you don't. And okay, shit hit the fan when they had a really loud ass band start to play. At least for me and the people and stuff. The lodge had a really great thing going. They put everything next to the lodge, which kind of, I don't know, it made it different. There was just so much light in that area that it kind of killed a little bit of, it made it feel more like a city, but more of like a bigger city, less of a medieval city. Tinkering with lights, again, adjust. With this stupid loud band that they had, absolutely cannot understand what was going on. Last year, Saturday was the craziest thing. It was when the monster came out. It was all of this story, and you were expecting that because last year the round table kicked off. Everybody's ready for Saturday night. You know, everybody was kind of on, like, all right, be ready. You know, after the round table, something's probably going to happen. We're going to be on alert. It's probably going to be a monster. Like, everybody's ready for Saturday night. And the roundtable event ended, and to Hynafol, well, that was about it. A loud band started playing later, and I mean, they were playing right in the heart. So whenever I say, like, there was one central area. This band was playing so freaking loud. I mean, it was it's a field, you know, whatever, but, like, you could hear them easily over a quarter mile away, every single word they're saying. And here we are, all literally in, like, combat armor, because people are expecting shit to go down. Nothing happens. Like, here's this Arthur. Is he a fake Arthur? Like, what's going on? And we're all just kind of left there. And eventually, like, we just kind of won, like, okay, I guess that's it. And it was just weird. And then there was music. What ended up happening for me, however, was different, because I ended up closer to the castle. And I ended up, over the course of the weekend, whatever, I became very close with, I still call her the Lady of the Lake. Lady Nim, I'm bad with that. I become very close with her, because, yeah, and I don't want to say anything about the band. They were fine, they were great. It was just wrong place, wrong time, you know? There's a time and place, and when everybody's like, this is the heart, this is the last night, this is where everybody is, like, pouring their heart and soul into their characters, into the story, into everything, and you couldn't hear the person next to you talk because of how loud the music. That there are people who just straight up went to bed. I heard people, I don't know if any of them left, I heard people being like, I'm freaking leaving, and just walked off. It was horrible. And what really got Alamaxia was that when he went up to Story and he was like, this is seriously too loud, nobody can hear anything, like, what is going on? And they were like, it's fine, it's over, like, go party. Like, they were just like, no, it's fine. And they brushed him off, and they didn't hear his concern at all. And but yeah, that was what a lot of people, the fact that they did that to us, did not care at all. It was horrible. It was horrible. It made everything that we had been going for, every awesome thing. We were ready for battle or RP. We were ready for everything to have one last night in the mists, and we didn't get that. So basically, we had Wednesday night, you know. Yeah, at the round table, Arthur just say, and now let's feast. And it felt like, yeah. But it was also dinner time. That was just another thing. It's really shitty when they're putting all these really big events right in the middle of, like, dinner. Like, come on, man, like, I only have a window that I can eat because I paid you all this money to eat, so, like, I have to, so that also really sucks. But no, even though when Arthur said let's feast, no, everybody was still, like, when he said it, people were like, no, that's not right. Like, we were waiting. We didn't think it was right that he said it. We were like, yeah. I don't know. It was like we were waiting for the shoe to drop. There was more to it, you know, and what ended up happening was, the Lady Lake, Lady Namin, whatever. So she was over there. She was in contact with Merlin. I'd become very close with her over the course of, the weekend, I guess. I consoled her. We tried to contact, Merlin. didn't go so well. She kind of did. He's gone. But it's one of those, like, afterwards, you know, everybody's kind of, I was like, in character or whatever, but you're kind of gathering up your stuff. You're like, okay, well, you know, it's, all right, you know, I got something else to go get to, and everybody's kind of heading off, and so I was talking to her, and it was like a very Power Ranger-y line, you know? Like Mystic Force, like, even though we don't have powers, we're still Power Rangers, you know, something like that. But she was saying how she was so sad, you know, she doesn't have her magic anymore, and I was just like, well, you know, if you know, you make me smile, you make me happy, thinking that you were gonna be here, because I remember her from last year. She was so great. She told stories, she told some really cool stories in the lodge, like 5 minutes medieval ghost stories, right? She was so cool. And like during the thing on Saturday earlier, she really liked this thimble that I had. I just gave it to her, right? Stuff like that. So I go over there and I hear, you know, the lady's been hurt, and I immediately, I have all my stuff. I just go to, like, my tent is close enough. I just throw, like, everything in my tent, and I just run. And I have never RP'd so much in my entire freaking life. I have never, like, let myself become in a character so much since, like, one of the last times I was, like, acting as a character. But it was so neat, and just, she was out, the whole thing was, the darkness consumed her, and you know, I was over her, and I'm, you know, begging the priests and the high priestess, you know, I'm just like, just take, you know, exchange my life for hers, and it was really cool. It was, I mean, it was really intense. It was just like, I don't know, it was like this acting or whatever. I'm like, oh god, like, it was a very, very intense moment. And you know, they had to take her back to like her altar, and so I helped Manfrey and Kezia, who Kezia is older, and she has a bit of a harder time getting around now than she used to. So I held her arm basically, and I helped walk her down the hill, and I walked her, and I sat with her while people got her guild, because you know her guildmates are off doing something else. You couldn't hear. So like, if you gotta imagine on Thursday night, if someone in your guild needed you, if somebody were to get attacked, and you had enough people start yelling something, you could practically, and someone carried it, you could get all the way across the whole field. You couldn't do that. And so these huge RP moments, these huge things were happening. And, you know, you're yelling for a medic, nobody can hear you. You're yelling for help, nobody can hear you. And these huge pivotal moments are happening, and there's like a light freaking show happening right over on the other side. It was just wrong place, wrong time. I would love to see that band in a normal circumstance, because they sounded great. Like, I was trying not to hear them, but like musically, like my ears at least attuned to it, like they sounded fantastic. I just didn't want to hear them. I paid a shit ton of money. Thousands of dollars. You have to understand, the Alamaxi and I, between airfare, between Ubers, between hotels, between gear, we're spending over $4,000 for this. And our night was taken away by something like that, and they didn't even care. And that was the big, like, so some people, they just went as far, they went to the furthest edge as they could, so the music would be as quieter, and they started drawing a crowd, and they were just doing like free form, just like fighting, just honor fighting, you know, whatever, not actually like to the death or whatever, but it was just like, hey, you want to duel? Yeah, okay. But people were getting in, and that's where all the RP, that's where all the fun was happening, was when you could actually hear the person next to you. And it was, that's where the magic of Hynafol is. The story is there to give us the reason. And yeah, it was, I ended up, I still had a really good time. I still, like, I RP'd my ass off. I loved it. As horrible as the situation was, you know, with this lady dying who was bringing up a lot of, you know, feelings of grandma, you know, all that. But so I was crying. And I mean, I really did. Like, I actually threw myself into the role or the RP, whatever. Like, I had myself crying. I was like, it was crazy, y'all. But yeah, but it was kind of shitty because by the time I came back, I was absolutely, I mean, I was disheveled. I had been bawling my eyes out with Voyage Maru from the guild, and I've had this, you know, somber hour with these people who are, you know, mourning the loss of their friend, whatever. And I mean, I'm sure she can come back next year as a different character, and that's perfectly fine. But it's one of those, you know, everybody's mourning, and I come back, and it's loud. And everybody's pissed. So I went from very heavy-hearted, but happy that, like, wow, you know, here it is, my last night. It took 2 years to the last night, but I finally fully, like, gave myself into the RP, and I gave myself into the role of Ricine that I gave myself. And it was so much fun, and then I came back, and I'm just seeing people packing up, and they're pissed. Because the lodge isn't the place of rest. It's the bright lights and the loud music of the band. You couldn't hang out at the bar. You couldn't hang out outside of the castle. You couldn't hang out anywhere without hearing this loud band. So Keith was pissed, say the least, which sucks as a person being with him. Yeah, it just ended everything really shitty. And then, you know, I was calling it a 5-day because you have Wednesday, a bit of Wednesday, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then a bit of Sunday. Well, there's no Sunday. Not this year. It was just game over. On Sunday, people woke up, they were in jeans. So I actually had Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday. I had 6 half-hour shifts, only 3 days. And that, yeah, the fact that there was nothing on Sunday was, I don't know. I mean, I guess I should have seen it. There wasn't anything on the calendar. But I was really hoping there would be freaking something. Like last year, at least. I guess maybe it was because the roundtable thing. But there was at least a, like, hey, you can, you know, you're in decorum until noon, you know, or something. And some people still did, you know. They, like, I put on, just because they were comfy, I put on my pants and, you know, a random shirt. But yeah, it just sucked that, like, it was nothing on Sunday. It was just wake up, get your breakfast, like, get out. Campground cleared at noon. Or 12:30? 1. Sorry, 1. Campground cleared at 1. Like, so what do I think? The good and the bad. After all of this, if you've been listening, I wanted to keep it at 2 hours. Wow. I mean, the good is the story, the location. Yeah. It was very game over at midnight. Yeah, it was insane. I wasn't expecting it to pretty much be done for after the round table, but people were still at least in their decorum. It was crazy. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of go over, like, things that are better this year or worse this year. Starters better this year. Bathroom situation. I don't know how it could have been worse because it was just porta potties last year, but we had flushable toilets. It was a giant better. Food. Honestly, it's about 50-50. The dinners were more like, here's 8 different sides and 4 different meats, pick. However, the dinner hours were 7:30 to 9 or something like that. It was ridiculous. It was way too late. If you finished eating breakfast at 9, you know, I get you have lunch, but like 7:30 is way too late to start eating dinner. For an event where you're having people working out and like eating and going crazy by, you know, by 3 o'clock, they may have been doing all these battles. Like 7:30 is way too late for having dinner. I don't even know how to do anything about like the dinner lines, but it's just rush as always. It's just waiting in line, being late for things because the line for food just always takes so freaking long. It just does. I don't know. Like, please do something about the food. Last year, the suggestion was more than one place. This year, they just moved it to a different place. You got to do something about one person. Like, there's 40 people in line. We only have an hour and a half to get our food, and there's 3 other events going on that you want us to go to. You have to make this easier. And the food was just not a great situation. If I had to actually pay money, like if I were, and again, this is one of those if-when, come back next year, probably not doing fully immersive. It's not worth it. The food is not worth it. Honestly, it's just, we will do modern decorum or whatever. We will bring our own. I will bring my own food. But between the lodge, between guilds, between everything else, the food is not worth it. The package. And staying on the grounds is great. That is where the money is. Being able to be right there, hanging out in the lodge until you're about ready to pass out, go to bed, you know, flop into bed. That's where the money is. But as far as the food goes, like, there were days, I know I skipped breakfast at least one day. I skipped dinner twice because I couldn't make it because we were doing stuff. And by the time we were there, the line was really long. It was just like, it's just not worth it. It's really not. They have to do something about it. The pizza situation, the pizzas were stupid expensive. But, like, you could only order them at certain times. I don't know. Poutine was good. I had the poutine. I guess tents and stuff were the same. The way they moved them up towards the front, it's good and bad. It's a double-edged sword. It's great that everybody's closer together, but I think to some extent they moved us too close together. We have to find a happier balance of that. We all moved up to the front. We were next to each other, which was great. However, there was a lot of dead space. Some of that dead space was used for battles, which I understand. But it did also make it feel like half of the area wasn't used at all. But that also could have been because they said flushable bathrooms, the only flushable bathrooms were up by the castle. So they put everybody up by the castle, which is where all the other stuff was as well. It's yeah. Is there more than one flushable bathroom? Is there something that we can do this? I know our tent, we were close to Story, and so, you know, there's a bright light. Yeah. Okay, so I went over food. If the Acolytes return, we can do our own cookouts. Yeah, no joke. I'm bringing the steaks. It's not even, like, I'm not even joking you. Like, I will bring 20 T-bones. Like, we're gonna eat. Like, we eat. My understanding for tents was due to the hill it's on a lot. Yeah. So we were in that. Actually, one of our friends was in one of the tents that completely flooded. They were far back down. Ooh, 2 flushables. Okay. The other ones are porta potties. So are the 2 flushables, is it like the men's and the women's by the castle, or is it the castle and then one other location? I'm not familiar with Sherwood, so this is just going by what I know. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff that happened. Oh, there's one other location. Good. Ooh. Excuse me. The currency, good. It was fun. It was... You have to... I don't want to say you have to stay up to date, but before Hynafol, you need to read what's going on. You need to catch some of the zooms or rewatch them when they talk about the new things, because this whole money system, if you didn't know what it was going into it, you could have just been left behind in some ways. And read, know what you're getting into, but the location is all the way across the grounds past the stone circle. Ah, okay. Last year, our camp was near the jousting field. All the way out there. With a large stack of porta potties. Yeah, that's what I mean. Last year we just had lots of porta potties. So, as far as the food goes, I'm gonna give it neither better or worse. Battles, I will say better for the simple fact that the skirmishes were really cool, that they would let guilds go side to side. I think the big battle, the fact that we were only on the big battlefield for one day and we weren't 100% sure on all the sides, that was kind of crappy. And also because the March Wardens and stuff got their asses kicked because the sides were way too uneven. So, wasn't great, but it's what it is. I enjoyed it. I still is half the way to the other flushable. I drummed though and stuff for the first half of the battle, and then after that, I was like, I'm not having, like, I would rather, because by Saturday you're like, this is my last day. I would much rather be hanging out, trying to sell some stuff. So that's what I did. From there, Sunday, we just packed up and headed out, said our goodbyes. I got these. I cannot remember off the top of my head who drew them right now, but one is me, obviously. One is Almaxia. These were waiting for us over at the food place. Somebody had drawn them based on, I had posted some pictures of us in, like, this selfie Discord. And, yeah, someone drew them. It's amazing. Oof. But there's a lot of other stuff that happened that's not my stories to tell. I had a good time. I think there are some people that need to have things change. And I know it's easy, just like, oh, it was great, but like, when you're spending the amount of money you are to do it, you want people to be receptive and hopeful that things will change for the better. This year was better, and that's great, but, like, for sometimes the steps it took forward, sometimes the steps it took back. But I'm remaining hopeful. I don't know. As of right now, it is all, yeah, if the Acolytes return, we'll do our own kickouts, but we're friends. We've met so many friends through this. I don't know. We'd have to cut costs a lot. I think we would do modern camping. I think Almaxi and I, we might drive instead of flying. It's really expensive for us to do this, and whenever he is pissed off, like, half the time, it's not worth it. Not only is it not worth it for him, it's not worth it for me, because I am the one with him. Like, I don't want to be with someone who's pissed off the entire time. It's not fun. It's really not. So, we'll see. yeah, I guess with that, I will close this, since it's been about 2 hours. If you have any questions on it, feel free, just find me, like, on Twitter or whatever, Ranger Liz, find me in any other way, I'm just Ranger Liz, or on the Discord as, Ricine DeBard. Yeah, that's where I'll be, but it was a very interesting year. I loved the people. I loved everything. I got a birthday present again from Kendra. Not just a pen. She got me these really cool dice and thing. But yeah, it's also at some point the event is, the fun wasn't the place. The fun was the people who were there and everything we made of it. So we'll see how supportive, receptive things are, and we'll go from there. But I'm gonna sign this off, y'all. Thanks for just hanging out and listening to this. If you were at Hynafol, let me know. Shoot me a thing, or if you're gonna be there next year or whatever, I'll see you there. So cool. In Ranger Liz fashion, if you don't so today, I love you. I think you're awesome. I'll see you in the next video.